Okay, my slideshow presentation is beginning. I hope the PT podcast is paying attention because this presentation is all about overhauling the harassment podcast. Take notes, Giardia, the rest, BBL. Pay attention, BBL. This is a good faith effort to rebuild, rebrand, reestablish the H3 podcast as a thing that some people might respect. I'm not setting my sights very high. Maybe one, maybe two people might say, oh, I'll give it a chance. Step one, PT podcast. Rebrand, rebrand, rebrand. Right now, you're known as the H3 podcast. H3, of course, stands for we don't know. Nobody knows. None of the fans know. They just say, yes, it's an H. We don't know what it stands for. I am here to say it can stand for harassment. Very easy. And that 3 could be cubed. You put this together, sort of like Nerdcube. Shout out Nerdcube. I don't mean to involve you in any of this, but I do love Nerdcube content. He hasn't made very many videos in the past few years. Aww. But shout out Nerdcube. Legend in gaming. Now, what is the harassment gonna stand for? Of course, Instagram stories, live streams, and lawsuits. All things the harassment podcast is known for. Not laughs, no hee-hee, no hee-hee, they're here. What else can we do for the rebrand, you might be asking? There are more options. We can call it the PT podcast. Parentheses, not Peter Thiel. Make it clear to everyone that PT stands for something else. Pedo Troll, that's what it stands for. This man, this greasy, sweaty, drippy man. Another option? The Small Cowardly Man podcast. Because primarily the show is about one small cowardly man who picks on all sorts of people across the internet. By the way, this isn't a Courage the Cowardly Dog reference. This is just the attributes of this person. Small and cowardly. You can call it Hobbit Diaries, which I think would be quite appropriate because I have no problem flying over the podcast and blasting them like the dragon would blast the Shire. Next up, we could just call the podcast Porn Brained, and they could make associations to all sorts of different types of pornography that the host has watched recently. That would be fun. We can learn all sorts of new terminology. I heard about a porn category the other day. It's called Gonzo. What in the world is that? I know there's a puppet from the Muppets named Gonzo. Anyway, I don't want to distract you from that. These are some ideas for the Porn Brain podcast. You can call it the PBP. The PBP. Enjoy. Next up, step 1 to improving the podcast. Poetry. Poetry. Poetry with a man who knows all about edible gold sheets. Now I will read you an excerpt from the main podcast host. This is what he wrote on his Instagram story, if you can believe it. You are gilded with edible gold sheets, and underneath you are corroded and rusted like an old bucket fished out of a lake. And like a fished out bucket, you carry swamp water full of pond scum. But you're not even a useful bucket. You have holes from the corrosion. You spill disease-ridden impotable water with every step. Everywhere you go is marked by foul-smelling sewage water and slime. When those that you carry water for smell you, they fear people might suspect it's they who stink. And we all conclude in unison, it's best to put the scum bucket back in the swamp. Oh, what a lovely analogy for I don't know what. I don't think anyone ever found out what this was about. But, it is fascinating that a grown man would type all of this nonsense out. Now, it is entertaining, I will admit. That's why I'm reading it here. We have to give him his flowers. And that brings me to the solution. The male host has a talent for poetry. We mustn't let this edible gold man waste his gilded talents, lest he become a scumbucket that is thrown back into the swamp. I think every episode, P.O. Troll should read out the latest poem that he's devised. It could be about one of his enemies. I think that's where a majority of his passion is derived from. I think the next episode of the Harassment Podcast should involve a poem of eye dubs. Or perhaps a poem about the scorched legume. No using ChatGPT. No using Claude. No using Google Gemini. You have to use your own decrepit brain. Yes, I know it's difficult. But look at all these beautiful, intelligent words. Impotable. That's a big word for Elmo. That's a big word for legume. Impotable. Someone in chat says, I'm 12 and what is this? Oh, hello, little old man. Welcome to the chat. We're learning about the great poets of the 21st century. Here's one of them. Yes, he really does look like that. This isn't a statue. Although I do think that there is a world where he would be very successful being one of those street artists that acts as a statue. Talentless? No, that's unfair. He's a poet, everyone. That's step one, is poetry. Remember this, write notes. Step two, the male host should acquire a BBL. The male host should find a good surgeon in the Hollywood Hills. Should be easy with all of his connections and revenue. I think he should spend upwards of 50 G's on a Brazilian buttocks lift. Why a BBL? I'm glad you asked. Step one, it will make him irresistible to an internet audience. We are all accustomed to seeing big juicy buttocks online. And I think this would be a great, unusual, but unique strategy to bring in new viewership.
I got big booty bitches, big booty bitches, oh, big booty bitches, big booty bitches, oh.
Die! And yes, this is one of the surgeons in the Hollywood Hills. This is what they look like. Speak to him. He'll be able to do great work for you. Now, how will this improve the podcast? Number one, he will be able to relate to his modified employees. Any currently modified employees and future modified employees, he will have something in common with them. Whether they're small or large, rich or poor, he will say, we are both modified. And most importantly, he will be focused on recovery, leaving him less time for anything else. Less time and less money for suing people like Frogan and Denims and Casey Tron. Alright, that was step 2. Now we're moving on to step 3. Save your questions for the end. I will answer all questions at the end of the presentation. Step 3. Pedo Troll, admit that you're a washed and chopped unk. Yes, it is that simple. You are washed, you are chopped. Much like Bobby Lee, but Bobby Lee is a comedian. Hire someone to be a co-host to make up for how washed and chopped you are. Someone who is funny and talented. It should not be difficult. These are the characteristics listed of the host. Number 1, the host has a lot of connections. He has not burned any bridges. I hope you're sensing the sarcasm here. He has a squeaky clean history and reputation. Oh, so true. He has left a lasting positive impression on his guests. Yes, he has not dogged on every possible connection he's had on his podcast. Oh yes, that's a good idea, J-Tran. He says, hire iDubbbz, question mark? Yes. Oh, that is so smart. If only he surrounded himself with talent. Oh, dear Lord. And finally, he is a principled person who hasn't completely flipped on nearly every position he's ever taken. Yes, he's our progressive king. Oh, give it up for the progressive king. Step 4 in improving the harassment podcast is to reenact scenes from famous movies. Here in front of me you see Leonard from the Roman movie. Here it is. Recreate, this is sort of a sketch idea. You can pay me later, ABBL, for this brilliant sketch idea. Recreate the famous moment from the film 300, where instead of saying, "This is Sparta," in this version, Ethan Klein and his employees are reenacting the scene where Leonard kicks the man into the hole, but instead he says, "The Marlboros are gone, people." And instead of kicking a man into a pit, he knocks over a glass of water. How cool would that be? That would be funny. I would laugh at that. But this isn't my only idea. I have another one, and they're all free. Oh, accidental animation. It's a bit of fun. We can reenact E.T. Phone Home, but this time, P.T., not E.T., is taking a call from his IDF wife, and she's complaining to him about an artist that will not collab with her. And she cries all sorts of Zionist tears, and says, "Oh no, no one likes me, oh no." Poor baby. I have no empathy for you. Sorry. iDubbbz has all the empathy. I am lacking. Next up, step 5, remove Dan. Remove Dan completely. Yes, step 1 of the Dan removal is to remove him and then replace him completely. Get someone who's more charismatic and less bald. iDubbbz has a saying that he says on his stream, which is bald is beautiful. I disagree. I'm woke on a lot of things. I think bald is hideous. If you're a human, at least have the decency to have hair on your head. Ratchet. I mean, I understand if the hair has been scorched and removed via a dragon blast.
Fire.
But really? You're going to look like that in my presence? Now, the options for replacing Dan are as follows. These are serious suggestions. Completely serious. Number 1, Braden. Who's familiar with Braden? He's a cute young man. He's got a lot of life to live. If you ignore the steroid injections, the methamphetamine, the bone smashing, I think Braden would be a great replacement for Mr. Dan. Oh, he has bouncer experience. That might be nice. You can bring on some dangerous characters onto your podcast, like Deaf Noodles, and not be afraid that he might beat you up. The big scary Deaf Noodles. Now, if you don't like the Braden suggestion, we have another one. The Nelks. The Nelk family tree. Now, Big Papa Nelk. I believe his name is Kyle. So far your replacements for Dan are named Braden and Kyle. Anyway, I think they do great. The other Nelk, Mama Nelk. I think you've met Mama Nelk before. I think she gifted you some large watch. Mama Nelk brings a lot of milk to the table. Yes. Oh, yes, of course, small Nelk. Little small baby Nelk. You can get baby Nelk to replace Dan. And then slightly bigger Nelk is this guy with the green shirt. He's older brother Nelk. Can't remember his name. Might be something like Devin. Devin, baby Nelk, Kyle, and Stefan. Mama. Okay, now, that's all of the Nelk options. Next up is the very infamous Mr. Morelli. You love Mr. Morelli. I know the main podcast host is terrified of this man, but I think he's terrified of him in sort of a respectful way. I think he respects Mr. Borelli. So, if you respect him so much, give him a spot. Make him producer. Make him co-host. If you love this man so much, why don't you divorce your wife and marry him? Come on! Look at this handsome man, Mr. Borelli. Next up we have... Oh, of course! Bacon Blackface. Bring on Bacon Blackface to be your co-host or your producer. He's called the Bald. He's incredibly bald. This is perfect. He's Canadian, so you know he'll be nice.
Oh, Canada.
He'll play along. Whatever you say, he'll nod his head like, yes, perfect. Perfect purchase. So, out of all these options, I think they're all very, doable. Sorry, Dan. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Next up. Step 6. Give ABBL a raise. ABBL is slaying on the podcast, and I think he deserves a little bit more money. Number 1, he's poor and destitute, in my opinion. 2, he reacts to the podcast host like a beaten dog, in my opinion. This is my opinion. Number 3, I recommend you give ABBL paid leave, paid therapy, and a very handsome stipend. In my opinion. Now, the stipend should be paid in gift certificates of fast casual restaurants like Applebee's, Chili's. I recommend Chili's. To avoid misappropriating the funds. In my opinion. It's just my opinion. Drain Gang in the chat says, hello, Scorch Lagoon. You are surely becoming one of my favorite content creators, much better than that other fellow, the Burnt Peanut. Purchase. Next up, step 7, apologize. You should do an apology to the current and former employees. The main podcast host, that is. You should apologize to the fans lost over the years, and you should apologize to friends and family for disgracing them with your antics. Step 8. Very simple solution. If you don't want to do any of the other things at all you need to do is remove and replace the man named Ethan. You can go from this to this right here. Ethan Slater. Same name. No one will be confused. You could do a little swap in the night. One day, the main podcast host just disappears. You can have a little story behind it, like, oh no, he was taken in the night. And the next day we have the SpongeBob man, the Ariana Grande cheetah guy. He's quite talented. He does stage plays. I think he would do great. Babby Bird says, altruistic legume. I agree. Very nice man. It's not a threat, to be clear. All of this is satire. Not an ounce of truth in any of it. Just a lot of silly willy. This is the end of my presentation. I am open for questions. Say what you'd like. Speak your piece. Speak your truth. This is a public service announcement. A PSA for short. You can take it or leave it. Just advice. I know no one asked for it, but desperate times calls for desperate measures. And none of us like harassment. Harassment is so awful. So we shouldn't wish it upon our worst enemies.